Hey folks, what is going on? We're going to do some more artwork today for our Eberron adventure. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure we're up and running. I'm going to do some quick social media posts, and then we'll get to work. So let's see. Checking my signal here real quick to make sure that I am coming through. Pressing the buttons. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. I wasn't able to hear myself there for a moment, so let's do that. Let me grab that. We're gonna grab our link here to make the things do. I'm almost done with my posting. I create content for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. I publish on the DMsGuild. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. And I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2018, but I have yet to publish an adventure on my own, from my own mind, blar. But and I love Eberron, so let's make an Eberron adventure. Character level 7 to 8. It's called Crystals of Mabar. You can see it here on screen. Here's the cover. We created around episode 40. You're fighting necromancers and demons and undead in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair. If you think today is fun, consider like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications to see when I'm live in the future, which I am live 9 times per week, 5 times in the mornings, Monday through Friday, as well as Tuesday and Friday at lunch, like today, and then Tuesday and Tuesday and Friday at lunch, and then Monday and Thursday in the evening. So 9 times total. Here's the full playlist of all 441 episodes. We created this cover around episode 40. Here's a bunch of books that I've already created on the DMsGuild. They all have free previews. Check them out. If you think they're cool, consider making a purchase to encourage similar behavior in the future. But for now, we're going to do some artwork. So let's see. Let's get this book cover out of the way and continue with, these are the artifacts of Eberron. We already have the Eye of Mabar, which is the artifact that's creating a manifest zone to the plane of Mabar in this adventure. And then, so for the full set of all 13 Eye of Mabar, you'd have here's all the items, and here's all the planes that they're connected to. And when you perform the ritual, it generates a manifest zone. The Eye of Mabar is designed to make a permanent portal between Mabar and Eberron through the manifest zone, as well as the process of the ritual creates a new Ultraloth, which is the high CR leader monster of the Yugoloth. So each artifact can do differently, but we don't go into the details of what the rituals of each of these are, or what their magical properties are, or what they do. That's up to you to decide. We're just making the artifacts and leading you there. You can make your adventure your own. So today we're going to work on the Parasol of Arania. The Parasol of Kithri. No. Irian, that's right. Parasol of Irian, the Eternal Day. So Parasol, Eternal Day, always sunshine. Parasol blocks the sun. We're making it out of stained glass for irony, because we like playing with irony here. So I guess what I need to start off with is I have the base color that we've already dropped in here. And I think I'm okay with that as just a general background noise of light that's coming through. So something similar to probably something like this-ish. But we have all this other stained glass stuff going on. And boy, we have some crazy colors. So I want to take a moment and consider my next move. So what I know I need to do is connect this this handle. Need a black and white down here. Yeah, that feels about like the right spot. Let's duplicate this layer. Free transform. Bring it in. Yeah, about like that. Merge down. Merge down. There we go. Merge down. That seems appropriate. Actually, feels off. .69 tilt. Yeah, that feels good. Find the center there. That feels about right. Still feels pretty good. Sorry, something just feels a little off about it. No, that's not it. What'd you get, buddy? About like that. So it's just off a smidge. Okay, that feels good. I can work with that. We needed to establish a center point, a focal point here, because while we're doing the stained glass effect, I need to have some sort of a stained glass pattern going on here. That's why that's what my brain is considering, is like what kind of a pattern can I produce from these effects? And I'm thinking it's the good old white mana symbol. Actually, before I get too far down that rabbit hole, let's find out what the symbol of Rizia Irian is for our own reference, because that might make some choices for us of what that symbol is going to look like. But before I get too carried away, let me free transform. There we go. I can put the cauldron back in. Yeah, I like how that sits. That's pretty good. It's good enough. Might not be perfect, but it's pretty good. Right, Rizia as a symbol. Irian, that's what I wanted. Interesting. Do I want to incorporate that symbol? Science point to maybe. It's not a requirement at all. Yeah, I don't see that symbol sensibly fitting into the equation. All right, cool. Let's skip past that and let's go find a base color to work with. Let's play with something like this to start. Just to start. Here, and what if we started here and started working our way out? Add a new layer. Let's go with, let's start like this. We'll deal with the background first, and then we'll layer in the foreground. Maybe maybe a faded color is would be a good way of doing this. I've never created stained glass before, so this is an experiment for me. God's willing, I'll have some success with it. So we'll start here like this. Like I said, we'll do the foreground, the front end of the parasol later. So right now we're just going to create, hopefully maybe some general consistency here. This question is like, do I want to make a pattern out of this? I mean, the stained glass itself isn't indicating any kind of pattern because I wasn't really thinking about this when I set out the original design. I mean, maybe I should have, but... maybe I should have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 will film like this. 6 will film like this, and like 7 will be here, and 8 will be here. I kind of like that. Kind of putting the lumps of it in. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is going to end that. That's how it would end up. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Let's take a sip of coffee. Contemplate our next move. Yeah, we got that going on. Let's see. What's the next one? Let's grab another color. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. can use these as a general guideline, and then maybe we just go back to our original patterning and fill in individual pattern colors with the things that we're doing. Might be merit to that. There we go. Strip that out. That could end up being interesting, so yeah, let's take that into it. Hey, Defected, how you doing? You think so? Thank you. We're figuring it out, my man. We're gonna figure it out. I need a. So I think the base color that we have here is okay. The question that becomes is the patterning that I chose. What is that? Oh yeah, there we go. Hold on. Color. There we go. Base. How low can you go? Color. Inside the color. Color and color and color. Okay. So if I move this out of the way. If I start filling in color blitz, how does that go? So let's just start working the problem. Like none of these shapes are. So I created this. So we create this pattern here, but the stained glass holes that we've created don't match the pattern. So are we going to reshape the? Are we going to reshape the things to fit the pattern, or are we going to leave the pattern in place and fill the colors into those? That's the next move that we have to make. Let's see if using those colors, filling in these gaps, even though those gaps don't match the pattern that we created at all, does it still look cool? So that's the next bit we'll be working on here. So let's merge this group down here because value. Let's go to here. Actually, this has become a reference point. So drop that into the reference file. There's a high likelihood that this isn't going to work initially. We're going to have to do something different. But it's an idea. Hey, well, the pattern should draw some sort of pictures. So if you have something in mind, I'd do that. Yeah. This radiant pattern is the idea that I was going with. Since Irian is the eternal day, I was just trying to do some sort of a radiant light sort of effect, or like, I don't know what's the right words to use there. Blue and purple and red. I think it'll work. But yeah, generally there's supposed to be some sort of pattern. That's where my brain is breaking down just a smidge. Just a smidge. But I can't. It can't be helped. So let's just do this. Let's just do this initially. This initial color blocking, it might end up being a waste of time, but we should do it anyway, just to see how things look. Because we don't even have a base point to this right now. And whinging over it sure as hell ain't gonna get us closer to the goal, so. Like here's the symbol of Eberron, and I don't see that jiving with the umbrella anywhere at all, unless I made a square umbrella. That'd just be no. I'm not doing a square umbrella. Not gonna do that. This should like drop in like here. What's up? Perhaps. Base of the mountain? Maybe. We're gonna work on spell point sorcerers at lunch today, building out the spell list for the subclasses, and going over the mechanics of the subclass features to make sure that they're jiving the way that we want them to. So that'll be around 1:30 today in Seattle time. It's currently 7:15 here in Seattle, so that'll be in about 6.5 hours ish that we'll be back on doing that. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, honestly. Let's just keep fucking around and find out. I want to have one line between. I'm doing blocks of 3 with 1 point of separation between other things that we've done. And this might end, who knows? This might end up being a waste of time. We'll see. Don't know until we do it. But if it looks cool, we'll leave it. And we'll just, embellish it a little bit. We could also scrap the entire pattern and then just draw something geometrical. What's going on? Around the base could be the later mountains, and in the middle of the sun could be the symbols, which shows the drawing, but it would be there. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. I don't have to have the symbol. I think it's a neat. I think it's neat if it works. Like we don't have the symbol anywhere in the cauldron. We don't have the symbol anywhere in the. We have the symbols on the eye. Actually, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. Some of them don't. I don't have any rules about it. I don't know if I want rules about that. It's a neat design challenge to try to incorporate the actual symbol of the plane into the artifact. But, oof, this one's ugly. 1, 2. Well, my phone went ba-doop boop. Don't know why. Yeah, these are... It's a... Okay, so the question is, was I just getting lazy and spreading out the gaps here, or is there something sensible to it? Because it just feels like I got lazy and started creating more gaps. So my patterning's falling apart. So that's an indication that I probably should rework the glass. But I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to stay the course for now. And I'm also going to not overlap at all. I'm just staying on the interior right now. We'll do the exterior differently. Let's start with a drawing pattern. God damn, my fucking phone. Why are you making noise? Shut up. There you go. Yeah, maybe making a color pattern and then outlining it, breaking it up. I'm going to be stubborn and stay the course. It's because I feel like there's... I'm going to go with 4 on this one. I want a space. That doesn't have space there. Yeah, maybe doing a pattern is the right way to do this first. That would be... That's okay. I am content with... repositioning. Let's drop these down to the bottom. Yeah, I think you're right. I think building a pattern or making an illustration and then glassifying it, that's the right word. That's probably the proper way to go. Yeah. This is the right path. Yeah. I was going with the chaos pattern and figuring it would figure itself out, but it wasn't. So this is the proper way. Let's drop that out of view so it doesn't infect our thinking. Let's figure it out. So that's a mild blue. That's a purplish red. That's a very bluish purple. Blue. Dark blue. Not much difference between those two, honestly. Yeah, those are the same, and then that flips it. And that's sharp. Heavy sharp blue. More purple. Purple to blue. Yeah, let's use them. Let's use these colors because we're using them. I'm going to fill that in again. You know what? Nah. I think it should be... Let's go with that one instead. Let's start there. Let's start there, and then let's end with this reddish. I think there's a sharper red we can fetch. I think it's the, is it the sunlight that's giving the bluishness to everything? That's why we can't have a true red. I don't know the rules of stained glass, but I get a definite feeling of blue coming through on everything. Go with what we got. The problem is I don't have a vision of what I want to do. Stick with what we were doing. I'm going to start off like this and see where it takes us. This was probably the right idea. Nah, I don't want it in there. How are we doing on time? 7:25. Okay. I could always make the handle the symbol. I think I'll work the symbol into the handle, not into the actual stained glass itself. I'll cheat the system that way. I might end up making this radiance that this radiance that we're starting with here. I might end up making it actual clear, no color. Kind of. This is where I'm at right now, but I don't know if I'm going to keep that. This just feels. I don't know. It doesn't feel lazy. It feels easy. I'm already feeling a weird pressure from this one. Yeah, and then we can do, I can like drop the opacity a bit here. And then layer over with a here as a darker transparent, as a more opaque coloration here overlaying. But we'll get to that. We'll get to the foreground effect. I think that's a good. That starburst is just a good basic generic shape. I think has some general universal appeal. Oops, looks like I got some splotches over here I haven't filled in. Yeah, I don't want a scene. I more than anything, I think I just want a radiant pattern that helps indicate sunlight. And I think starting off with the blue and then fading into red around the edges, I think that'll look good. I think that'll be fine. The sad part is you won't even end up seeing any of this. I know, right? But Inspiration doesn't care about that. Right on, man. I appreciate it. Truth. Let's see. Yeah, let's get get to the reddest part. That's the reddestest. And let's just trim right here. And these little triangles, we can do like an array of like a pattern of colors around here, perhaps. And I'm thinking the handle, the shaft, I think I want to have that be glass and clear. I mean, the whole thing is glass. I feel like I'm on the wrong layer. I am indeed on the wrong layer. Let's fix my shit. There we go. Man, the Bastion system last night, that was some fucking great shit. I am really, really happy with the progress that we're making with the order system and the crafting and magic item empowerment stuff. That's all flowing very, very smoothly. That is going to be I think a pretty fucking good product when it's done. It's good. I don't think it's as clever, TM, as the Spelljammer book is, but it's very, very, the consistency and the patterning in it. I'm really enjoying the design work there. It's going to end up being a really fucking good book when it's done. And you know I'm passionate about it because I'm cussing when I say it. I am really excited about that book. Summit. Yeah. Yeah. There should be some really neat reflective effects in there. Or refractive. You're right. The word is refractive. This one, I think I'm intimidated by this one because it's mechanically like the mechanics that go behind stained glass are so precise. I don't know if that's the right word. It's like being able to look at it and just feel stained glassedness to it. That's an important factor for me. So it has these specific mechanical restraints on the composition design and I've had so much freedom on the other pieces that we've done so far. This one feels like it's actually restricted, and it's like it has rules it has to follow. I like that trim. Yeah, okay. As far as color. Yeah, okay, that'll put some this. Yeah. Burp. Again, I'm just worrying about the interior right now, because the exterior part of the umbrella is going to have so much foreshortening involved with it that being able to do the interior curve is going to be more important for the overall appearance of the pattern, and then the foreshortening of it will be inferred through the consistency of patterning on the interior. So I like where this is going. I'm generally liking it so far. Feel like, oh, where are you at? Wow, that's sharp as fuck. Huh. Yeah, let's I guess deal with this. I'm gonna have to go color fishing here pretty soon. I'm pretty sure, but maybe we can operate inside this space for a little bit here. So we're attempting to work with 8-spoke radial, a radial pattern. I'm using some very simplified shapes here, maybe too simple. I know these shapes are too simple, but I feel like I feel like this is establishing zones, buffer spaces between this, and the edge. I feel like I want to mess around with the borders between these zones with colors. So I don't want to do any scene like we have a scene here of plants and stuff. I don't think that's what I want to necessarily do. Mostly because there is no iconic location in Irian that would be easily referenced by anyone. So I don't know what scene would make sense there. Like what single scene would define Earth? You know, you can't just boil it down to one. So I don't want to boil this down to like one image as a location. So an eternal day. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I appreciate the ideas. The ideation process is blessed. So thank you for investing the thought energy. But yeah, I definitely don't want a specific scene, which is kind of, I guess, antithetical to the idea of stained glass. Let's go fish for some color. Good. Oh, something simple like this. I like where this is. I actually kind of like where this is going. It has almost like a chalk on the sidewalk kindergarten sort of feel to it, which I am not hating. I want a degree of imperfection in it to lean into the glassedness of it. But your point about the stain about the wrought iron frame surrounding it is very intentional. So I guess what they're doing is they're making the frame first, and then I guess they're probably pouring the glass into the gaps of the frame, and then letting that set. So there's obvious no haphazardness in the production of the thing. Obviously, it's very intentional with all the things that they do with it. kind of like that. They cut the pieces of glass to fit, and then they put copper foil onto the glass and solder it to the frames. Oh, interesting. Well, thanks for doing the research. Huh. Right, yeah, summarizing Earth, right. But then it like a scene. Like would it be a seascape or a mountain range or like a city? And if it was a city, whose city? That's all I'm trying to say. You know, like there's so much diversity in just our world alone. Now take an entire plane of existence and try to boil it down into one scene to catch the essence of what is Irian, right? Like it's. I guess I just meant it as a rhetorical snark. Though yes, you're right. Blending the elements would be, from a planar perspective, would probably be the most accurate. It's not amazing, but it's a thing. Okay, we're obviously seeing some symmetry. Thank you, Timely Timer. 45. Got 10 minutes left. Yeah, bold thought that I'd get through this in one go. I'd get this in one go. That is, I mean, we're not doing horribly, but I think letting this sit is probably going to end up doing me some good. It's such a simple pattern. I think I want to break it up a bit. It's the radial symmetry as opposed to the horizontal symmetry that's making me also take another pause. I'm also probably making a bigger deal out of it than it needs to be. I'm probably making a bigger deal out of it needs to be. Just make a cool pattern and let it go. So the cool pattern will get more cool if it has more complexity. Currently, it's very, very simple shapes. So adding more complexity to it so it has more patterny stuff going on to it without having to break my head over perfect, like getting it perfect. I think it will go a long way to helping. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up messing around with these shapes to try to get them look consistent, but also taking into account the curvature of the umbrella. So it needs to be forgiving enough for the imperfection that it's going to have. Need to broaden this out a bit here. Because something might seem pretty symmetrical at the initial stages, but as you work more patterns into the gaps between what you think is symmetrical, you quickly find where you aren't symmetrical. Because the patterning breaks down, because it runs out of room, it gets too distorted to fit inside the space relative to each other. But by being able to nudge the patterns around consistently, I should be able to find a decent balance point where they sit, and that should make it look pretty interesting. Just the symmetry of it, the patterning and the symmetry of it itself should potentially be enough to make it just interesting. And interesting is all we really need. I allow myself the right that if I get a hair up my ass about this, I can work on it over the weekend. So if I end up making progress or even getting it completed this weekend, then I'm content with that. That is the glory of being done with page layouts. The last thing I want to do is get into an argument with this piece, especially if I'm supposed to be streaming, because arguing with my shit while I stream is just it's a buzzkill. If I have to take it out back and beat it for a while, I'm going to do that off camera, so there's no evidence. Yeah, probably. Because I mean, we're just roughing the colors in to get the pattern to get the general patterning. It's when we come through and we do the frame for it, that'll resolve a lot of this monkey madness. And right now we're just working in large block shapes. When we go in and start doing the wire work, we can create all sorts of smaller, like I can make like little bridge pieces that go from this part like to this like that, and like end up having interesting expressing radiance and energy that way as well. So I think we're gonna have a lot of options that are gonna be open. I think it's going to end up looking pretty cool. It's we need to put in the work. Once the structure is there, and the shapes are patterning, and it's looking symmetrical, it'll be an interesting enough pattern that adding in the wire will probably end up making it look cool. And if it doesn't, who fucking cares? It's just one of 12 things, so it's not like I'm losing nothing. Again, I'm really trumping up the value of this particular piece more so than I think it deserves. So I just need to relax with it and let the muse do what she do with everything else that she does. Just trust her in the process. She's not gonna guide me wrong. She's gotten me this far. She wants me to be someplace. She's just waiting for me to come along. She can move a lot quicker than I can, so she's forever patient with me. That's the thing about immortality, that the gratification of instant fulfillment is fatiguing on the soul. We mortals, we lament the time delay involved in fulfilling the hopes and dreams that we have, but from the eternal perspective, where there is no time space, everything is just instantly achieved, there is I think a delicious hunger, an appetite perhaps for that delay, for the sense of anticipation of receiving, of the gratitude of having it come true. I think that's what's missing from eternal perfection, is that it's too easy. The loss of perspective. See, I'm already experiencing some distortions here in the symmetry. That probably means I need a bigger shape here. And this probably isn't long enough. So yeah, once we get the color placement down, like where we want things to be, then we can go back through with the line art and make the wire work correct, and then pour in the color into the wire work. But I don't hate where this is going. So I don't feel like I'm wasting my time right now. Speaking of time, thank you, Timely Timer. I've got only a few minutes left before I gotta bounce out of here for my day job. But I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Like I could make, like we could come through something like, you know, end up having a shape like this, and then we can have like a shape like this, so it end up being like a bunch of diamonds sequencing through here, and intentionally leaving gaps between these so that we can have like this other color piece like fill in here like that. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I see the potential. I see interesting potential here. So I just want to get just some basic shapes, some basic color patterning here so it doesn't look stupid. And then we can add levels of complexity to it. Like I know I want something in this nook here. And it'll probably be like, here's this and here's this. Oh, I didn't realize I was using the same thing there. This to this. Super sharp, mid. Something, it ended up being something like that, and then like, so this would be kind of like that, and they'll have sharper saturation on the outside. Yeah, this is the stuff that I'm feeling right now. All right, I gotta go. I gotta cut out here for now. We're gonna be back. We're gonna do some spell point sorcerer work later on today. It's 8 o'clock here in Seattle. I should be around maybe like 1:30 or 2, probably inside of that block. So somewhere around 5.5 to 6 hours, I'll be back on. I have about an hour of lunchtime to play around with that before we skate for the weekend. And Saturday we're doing martial powers playtesting for level 5 characters. They've got a boss fight on their hands right now that they need to figure out to get around so they can keep pushing through the dungeon. But yeah, this is gonna end up okay. This is gonna be okay. We're figuring things out. Defective Man, I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks for all the help. Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think the patterns are starting simple, but that's just a real fine way to start. We'll add complexity to it as we keep going through the process. I think it'll manifest. It's just like everything else fucking does. It'll manifest. What I really need to do is trust the muse. She knows what she's doing. She's guiding us to freedom. So let's just follow her call. All right. I'll see you guys later on. Thanks a lot. Cheers.